within the state is being looked after to the maximum, and that those who are in need are given priority over those who are the haves, those who are in positions of wealth and all that. Those general principles can then provide the guidelines to ensure that the social and economic policies are therefore more Islamic or otherwise. In terms of the political strategy, or whether it's better to go with Pakatan Rakyat or whether it's better to go with UMNO Barisan Nasional, then these are political strategies which have to be discussed and debated. You can go either way. In terms of Islamic law, this way you can go, that way also you can go. Then the debate is, okay, if there is an agreement between us and PKR and DAP, then to break an agreement is un-Islamic. Okay, but of course, those people who wanted us to join and work with UMNO and Barisan Nasional, they argue that prior to the election there was no agreement, and after the election both options were equally legitimate. So from that point of view, we see which one is more politically wise. But from the point of view of those who oppose that decision, they say even though there was no explicit agreement in black and white, but there was tacit agreement that we go into the elections to bring down UMNO Barisan Nasional, and that agreement was declared, and therefore even though it is a verbal agreement, we are still equally obliged to hold to that agreement, because otherwise we would be seen as people who have sold out the voters, because we all know that the voters voted us because they didn't want to vote Barisan Nasional, full stop. So for us then to support the Barisan Nasional would be an act of treachery. So that is, so this is, I'm just saying that these are the two lines of argument. For those who want to go with BN, they say, look, there's no agreement, right? And obviously there is nothing signed.
Sorry to try to, force my way to speak. I want to sort of open as a debate, you see, so I'm not going to ask questions. The Malaysia I grew up is not the Malaysia I now see. The Malaysia I grew up, I had Malay friends, Chinese friends coming to my house, and vice versa. The Malaysia I now see is very divided, like what the young lady there said. Okay? There is a Malaysian constitution.
I meant it wasn't divided.
No, but you were talking about you didn't want the division to happen.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yes? Now, there is a Malaysian constitution. And from what you're saying, you've referred a lot to Islamic law, right? If I can go to history of Islam and in Islamic countries that the Islamic Sharia laws were enforced in the history, the things like the dhimmi laws, the jizya tax, and you even quoted your prophet talking about the Jews being allowed to live in Medina, but they had to pay jizya.
No.
And they were actually asked, or rather join up or leave, yes?
I'll respond.
But that happened about 1400 years ago. Would that be applicable in Islamic Malaysia or past Malaysia?
Okay. There's nothing wrong with the vision or the image of the Malays and the Indians and the Chinese getting together, even under a past Malaysia. Okay. So, as far as what you mentioned, the fact that the Malays and the Indians and the Chinese can mix around, in fact, the fact that we are, for most of us, that's not a problem. But for people coming from, people, maybe those who come from some Malay majority states, where the relationship with the interaction with the non-Malays are very limited. So that's why they have this problem, right? But as far as PAS is concerned as a whole, what we want is, we do want to achieve a situation where there is national unity. And in Selangor in particular, I'm trying very hard to make sure that as a PAS Member of Parliament, that the non-Muslim rights are being attended to. Okay, as far as the Islamic, you mentioned about Islamic law is concerned, about the dhimmi. This is again, dhimmi means a contractee, a person who has a contract with the Islamic State, right? It's not a term which is derogatory, but what happened is that when the Islamic empire expanded, the non-Muslim subjects paid their jizya, or this tax, which exempted them from military service. And through its payment, there then existed a contract between them and the Islamic government that their rights will be protected. Yeah, okay. This is the understanding, that their honor will be protected, their property will be protected, their lives will be protected, and in the event that they provided military service to the state, then the jizya would be exempted. You can check on the books of Islamic law. Okay. Secondly, in Medina, the agreement with the Jews, the Islamic State, the original Islamic State, there was no jizya. There was no jizya.
No, can I correct you?
Yeah.
You see, is it the what was the Jewish tribe called? Bani Qurabi or
Bani Qurayza.
Okay. Now, when they came to Medina, Medina was called Yathrib. Yes.
Yes.
It was a Jewish city, but your Prophet was allowed to come in there and take refuge from Mecca. That's true. The Hijrah.
There was a.
This is Islamic law, history. I'm quoting, right? Unless I'm wrong. Please correct me.
Right.
But they were taxed for the land, because most of the Jews, in fact, merchants and farmers. But the land tax went so high, the Jews said, look, we'll sell up and leave. That's why they came into commerce, you see. That's true?
No.
And those who refused to convert were given options to leave. And those who didn't, I think it's the Battle of Ubud. Badr is the first one.
Ubud is the second one, yeah.
Ubud, and what's the third one?
Khandaq, I think.
Now, those who were captured were killed. True?
No. So I think we have to compare the Islamic history. Well, I'll put it this way: when the Prophet came from Mecca, he went to Medina. So when he arrived in Medina, there was an agreement that was signed, and in this agreement, all the Jewish tribes accepted that they will jointly defend the state of Medina in the event of attack, and that they would jointly develop the state. Right? So the Prophet was accepted as the leader.
And they went against it.
So it was okay originally, right? But later on, when there was the Battle of Badr, then after that there was the Battle of Uhud, then when they saw the position of the Prophet was increasing in strength, then there was the final battle where all the non-Muslim tribes of Saudi Arabia, of that area, combined, and there was this Battle of the Ditch. And then when the Battle of the Ditch occurred, the Jewish tribes betrayed the Prophet. Yeah? They worked and cooperated with
the Meccans.
So as a result of that, they were then, after the battle, they were then punished. Some were expelled, some were killed. Right? So it was not killed. They were not killed because of the fact that they were Jews, but they were killed because of the fact that they contravened the contract and they betrayed the agreement. Right? So in the agreement, there was no statement of jizya. In fact, they became equal partners in the formation of the state of Medina. Right? So if you go back to the original text, and that's why we say that even in Malaysia, where the concept of the nation state with every citizen being an equal partner to the state is something which is not contrary to the Piagam Madinah, or the constitution of Madinah. Yeah? So actually in my
With respect, don't you think this is like going back in time, 1400 years? What happened in what is Hejaz, what is modern day Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. So modern day Saudi Arabia is not is not an example that we would like to follow. Okay. Well, so what our offer is this, as far as PAS is concerned. Our offer is we are all equal citizens of the state. okay, and everyone has a right, and everyone's property, everyone's honor, everyone's position, you know, is
Safeguarded.